Are you searching for treasure? Look no further. You'll find it at Dr. Russell's Imaginarium, a quirky antique store filled with old treasures, each with their own story, collected by Phil Russell, who despite a life-threatening accident at 17, chose to keep following his 2 childhood dreams: ice skating and opening an antique store in Australia.
This is where the magic happens, isn't it? Turn those lights on. I remember it really well. My mum gave me a couple of 2 old pennies, I think they were. And I think I'd been reading like Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. And I think it was just treasure. And I was excited at the thought of treasure. And instead of pocket money, I think I used to get like 50 pence a week. And she said if I didn't spend the money on sweets, she'd give me £1 a week if I bought things like collectibles. So I went for the £1 a week, of course. And then started doing little odd jobs to make some money, and spent all the money on buying more stuff. So by the time I was 13, I did my first antiques fair, as I think I would have been the youngest antiques dealer in England, if you can call me an antique dealer. And it was just from there, I couldn't stop. And I love it more now than I've ever loved it, really. Dr. Russell's is because my actual name is David Robert Russell, so it's Dr. Russell, and when I applied for my business name it came back as Dr. Russell, so I thought it sounded good, so I kept that. And then my friends always called me Phil since I was a kid, so I kind of never got to be David, I just always became Phil. This is the morning ritual where I make my cup of tea before we get started. Yeah. Not the cleanest place in the house, but it's I sterilise the cups when I make a cup of tea in the morning. I like a strong brew. Do you want a cup of tea? So I think a clean workshop makes it easier to work, doesn't it? Josh, the lampost's gone out here. That looks good. My mum was a swap meter, garage sailor type of lady, but she was definitely a hoarder. I mean, since I was a little kid, there was always, every room in the house was full of stuff. Even the staircase going upstairs would be boxes of different stuff going up the stairs, and she just encouraged me to do it with her. So like every time she went out, I'm really excited to go with her because we didn't know what we were going to find, and we'd get lost and stuff like that. Very, very interesting lady, you know, and had a very good imagination, because she was always encouraging me to, you know, never to be scared of doing something. She brought home, I think when I was about 12 or 13, an electric shock machine, which was late 1800s, and you'd stick your fingers in the thing and you'd crank it up and it just gives you electric current. And she played the trick on me with it, and I thought, God, that's so interesting. And I've still got that one. I think that she always had a really good interest about unusual things, and it was educational in a different way. And I wasn't very good at school. I couldn't read and write very well, so this was something I just found really interesting and exciting. there was Jacques Cousteau, the famous French scuba diver and explorer, was diving on the Barrier Reef, and I seen it on TV, and it was clear water and warm and all the fish. And being from Liverpool area, I used to go swimming in the Mersey, which was filthy, oily, dirty. And my mum used to tell me it was the beach, and I'd go swimming down at the beach, and really it was just a really muddy, dirty part of the river. And there's the big ships coming past, and I used to think, God, imagine if you could see the fish in the water. And that was from that age of 13, I went, I want to come and live in Australia, and I want to have an antique shop. So I was only 13 when I decided Australia and antique shop, and I ended up here. And I think, you know, it's, when you decided something in your head, you can make it work. You just gotta, it must be fate as well, but it was something I've always dreamt about. This is the treasure trove. There's I've got my mate Mort coming down. I'm trying to find something that's really special for his wife's birthday, which is a lot harder than you can possibly imagine. His wife's got such weird taste, you'd just never guess it. So I've kind of got to find a few things for her. So I've got something here which, oh yeah, here we go. This is one of the things I thought she might like. Hop. How about that? That's one of the original moving clowns. I know it's a bit spooky, but this is a plaster one made with horsehair around the 1940s and 50s. So they were just a really classic design, and they've never really changed them. But of course, they've been used in so many horror movies now that it just scares the hell out of people. Yeah, look at that. Everything's got a story, and every piece has got its own history. I mean, the pieces can't talk, but because I've been so interested in it, you can look at the things and you can have a good idea of what they've done in their lives. I look at something and I just fall in love with it. And it doesn't have to be any reason. Yeah, good. This is the bit that nobody ever sees, isn't it? Oh. That's it. Okay. Oh, it's not that heavy, is it?
Yeah, no.
You all right?
Yep.
That's it. That's going to clean up really well. Good quality. Whew.
I'm here because I'm useless and I leave it to the last minute to always get my lovely wife, a present. So usually I leave it to Phil every year. He knows better than me what she'll like. So that's why I'm here today. But I've known Phil for about 10 years. Just met him through collecting and somewhere to hang out on a Saturday morning. And we've become pretty good mates, haven't we, Cobb?
Well, look, maybe for you.
Depends, see what price he charged me first, see just how good mates we've become.
Goodbye. How you going, mate?
Good. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good to see you.
Good. I've got something special for you out the back.
What do you got?
Last time Vanessa came, she told me to get this out and give it a clean and fix it, and I've put a light inside it. That was like...
I do remember it.
That was quite a while ago, and she goes, I want that for my birthday. Can you just let him know? So
that is mint.
So I've gone to a lot of trouble to put a light in it.
So that's like a donation box, yeah? Where's it from?
I bought this in the UK, but it's probably one of, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the world. What happened when the charities stopped donating the money, they'd come and take them away and destroy them. You couldn't go and buy one of these, so this must have been in somebody's shed somewhere who stole it.
Yeah, right, eh?
So it's a very old stolen property.
It's mint.
I was going to keep it, but this is a bomb used by the West Australian Air Force to practice dropping into the Swan River.
Are you joking?
And that's a dummy one, so they could practice dropping things in. So can you lift it up?
It's heavy, but that's the bomb. Awesome. I've just got to go to work for the next six months to pay it off.
Talk about selling some old crap in this place, aren't they? Another happy customer. Hey? I remember nearly every single thing because, you know, this is not just a period. Some people come in and go, was it here when you moved in? I went, no, I've found every piece one at a time. But no, every piece, it's a part of your family because they become a part of your life. And every time I sell something special, it's like, yeah, you have seller's remorses, I think the word. I've sold it and I thought, I shouldn't have sold that. And the thing is, like, I know every single day I take something home and then I look at the house and I've got to bring a few more things in so my house isn't so full. I've just found something I haven't seen for a while. These are my old ice skates. Damn, there you go. I haven't seen them for a while. Still as sharp as ever. Those cost about $1,000, would you believe? In fact, the boots were specially made for me in Austria. My brother took me ice skating in Liverpool. In those days, the ice skates, they were like metal clamps that went up to your knees to hold your ankles straight so you wouldn't fall over. And of course, you know, we just fell over and it was fun. I seen this guy out in the middle of the ice rink spinning round and dancing, and I thought, God, I really want to do that. And I just managed to get all the way to him, and I fell over on the floor. And I said, I want to be like you. And he went, you'll have to pay for some lessons, son. I went, ah. Anyway, I got my mum to pay for a lesson, and we got a couple of lessons with that man. And he was the ice skating coach, Bill Patton. I must have had a little bit of natural ability with it, and within about a year he started to give me free lessons, and he'd pick me up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go and train. Bloody hard work, but I really kind of kept at it all the time. And then in the end I turned professional, and I competed in the British Junior Championships, and then as a professional I joined Holiday on Ice, Disney on Ice, and then I got to skate with Torvill and Dean, which was a fantastic opportunity. And then I came to Australia and I fell in love with Perth, and my brother was living here, so I luckily got to emigrate and then started teaching here, which was 25 years ago, I think. I was so lucky I got to join Holiday on Ice. We had a trunk that we could use to put our belongings in that they shipped around the world for us. And at the end of every year, they'd ship that trunk back to your home. And I would collect things as I was traveling through. We did South America for a year and a half, the Middle East for a year and a half, the Far East for 2 years, Europe for 2 years, Scandinavia. So as we were traveling, I'd collect all my bits because, you know, like especially I think it was Argentina and Uruguay, we got paid our wages, but the money was soft currency. So you could only spend it where you were, and you couldn't change it in the bank. So I'd buy little bits and pieces. So I'd buy old pieces from churches and watches and things, and pack them all up, and they'd send them back to the UK every year. And then after 5 years, I had quite a good collection, and that started the shop off.
Welcome to Dr. Russell's Imaginarium. Here we have my little pet, Reva.
Whoa, a bit smelly in there. This is an 1850s French bulldog, which I just got not long ago and did some repair work to be able to make it work. Isn't that fantastic? And then this is a 1925 theatre dog. So this would have been in a pantomime, and that's you pull a little string here and you get the mouth working. So you would have worked, you know, on a show with that on for an hour or so. It would have been a bit uncomfortable, but geez, that's what makes it fun, isn't it? All right, what do you think so far? Roy. I bought a piece this morning, a beautiful old mirror. The guy said he bought it in 1969, so he's had it like 50 years. I said, where did you get it? He got it from the Palace Hotel in St George's Terrace. So I've wrote all of that down on a piece of paper and I've stuck it to the back of the mirror already, because if I don't do that, then it's lost its history. And then if I'm not alive to tell somebody the history of it, it's all the history's gone. And history can go through one generation and that history is lost. I mean, a lot of the men through the Second World War died without ever telling their story. I mean, my dad never told me what happened to him in the Second World War, only because, you know, he didn't want to tell me, or he didn't want people don't want to talk about it. But I'd have just loved to know what happened and where he was. So yeah, no, it's everything's got a story, and it's good to share those stories. Otherwise, we'd lose all our history. When I was 17, I had a massive car accident on the way back from a big ice skating competition in the UK. It was quite serious, and they had to cut me out of the car and take me out of the roof. And then I was in intensive care after some serious operations. Some of the injuries were that bad they just left the lacerations because they concentrated on the more severe stuff, internal injuries. And then woke up in the hospital 3 days later and on my own in intensive care. Started to get better, even though it was very, very slow. Moved into the amputation ward with 5 of the guys who all were seriously injured. And I was the only one that I remember leaving, apart from the man that passed away. I remember the doctor coming in and I go, Mr. Russell, you're recovering quite well from your injuries, but you're never going to be able to walk again the same as you were before. And I don't think he understood that I had the accident on the way back from the ice skating competition. So that was everything to me. And those days you didn't really talk back to the doctor, you just said, yes sir. That was it. You didn't say anything really. My mind just refused to accept it. And that was, no, I just wouldn't accept it. There's no way that's going to stop me. I think that day I chose to change my life and to not let anybody tell me that I can't do anything. That was it. I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't do something. And I've gone with that all my life. And I've gone with that all my life. Yeah. And my dad made me drive the car home from the hospital, which was about an hour away. He went, you can drive the car. I went, Dad, I've got my leg in plaster and my arm in plaster. He went, yeah, you can do it. My dad was that positive to make me get straight back in. So to have driven, had the accident, ended up in hospital, and 2 months later drove myself home from the hospital. Now my dad he knew what he was doing. And that was it. I got home, and then I got my crutches, and I still had my arm in plaster and my leg in plaster, and I went to the ice rink and I put my skates on. I just got on the ice and just wiggled around a bit. Unbelievable. And within 12 months of that, I was back on the ice. I was back competing again. And then 2 years later, I joined Holiday on Ice, and it changed my whole life. And then we went to another show and another show, and we travelled the world for 7 years until I came to Australia, and that's when I settled down here and started the antique business. In the end, every time, it's coming back to doing something that you enjoy, that you really have a love for. And everybody that talks to me says, Phil, this is what you do. And I've got to learn that every single time. This is who I am. And I should be so thankful that I found something in my life that I wanted to do twice. Yeah, that's it. We're having a party tomorrow night in here. We've got about 40 or 50 friends coming. Friends and customers, because some of the customers become friends. When we close the door down and we'll do a few little bits of candlelight, it's so much more fun than them going to the pub. We've done it a few times since the COVID, and it's just such a nice atmosphere because you can walk around surrounded by all these lovely things, and all of the people that are coming are people that are collectors, so they really enjoy it. It's such an atmosphere. I think just looking around, it's really nice, the lighting and the music. Everybody I look at is a collector of something different. They're all from all walks of life, without a doubt, but we all have a common bond, which is collecting, and not collecting normal stuff like coins and stamps. Collecting a bit unusual. I mean, I can look at this gentleman over here who I know, and when I go to his house looks like my shop, and he's bought things from me for 30 years, and that's what it's all about.
It's over in the last corner.
The chap that's just behind you, he's an antique dealer that's now turned into making his own wrought iron and welding works of art. He's just done a life-size elephant out of steel. Unbelievable stuff. So, and when you go and look at his stuff, he's now not doing it for any other reason apart from he enjoys it.
I was living in Sydney, and yeah, I got the chance to work on Star Wars, which was coming through. I painted the Jedi Council chamber, Boba Fett's apartment, and the big street where they landed. They landed on a cruiser, and then they run up a street, and there's a bit of a market. So I worked on that, and I met George Lucas as well.
This is like my grandfather's house. So my grandfather worked in the BBC. He was like a prop master, the original prop master for the BBC. So his house was like full of props. A lot of the stuff here is like European or from England or from movies and stuff like that. So for me, it's like my grandfather's house. It's not as dusty here, but yeah, but it's beautiful. It's just it's a wonderland. I love it. Love it.
When I came to Australia, I had nowhere to stay, and he offered me a room at an extortionate rate, I might add. We've been friends ever since. That was 32 years ago. He is the sort of person, when he walks into a place, he could be full of stuff. And he's got the eye to pick out the one item which is the genuine article. He's a big kid, really. And the thing is, he really enjoys everything he does, and that's why he's so good at it.
Everybody's kind of fitting around the place and fitting in quite well. I think the main rule was no buying and selling. It's purely entertainment. I didn't tell anybody it was my birthday. I was hoping it was just going to be a quiet thing, but I think with the Facebook, you can't hide anything, really. So, every birthday is special. I'm just glad I'm still alive and enjoying it. Hey, there's party people everywhere. I'm just happy to be doing another year, really. And I'm working tomorrow morning at 8:30. Have you had a good time? My mum passed away 5 years ago. I went to visit her. She was been in hospital for a while. And she goes, get back in the shop and get back to what you do. And I went, yeah, okay. And then when I opened this place, I realised that's what I do to make me happy, and it's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And when I moved in here, I couldn't wait to get in every morning. I was coming in at 4:30 just because I wanted to, decorate it and make it fun. This is probably some of the most happiest period of my life, as in I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I've always tried my best to do what you want to do, but you have to make a living and work along, and when you find something like that, it doesn't matter, it's not work. People go, you're working 7 days a week. And I'm not working at all, really, because it's just fun. And it's not being afraid to try something like the ice skating and running my own business. And when I started, I had to sleep in the back of the shop to be able to pay the rent, to be able to start the business. And it was okay because I was doing what I wanted to do. And, you have to pay the price for however long it takes. I just want to keep going because it's exciting. And that was, my mum always said, well, just go a little bit further. And you don't know where you're going to go until you get there. And then I'm still in love with it. Wow. Okay, job done. I don't know why I do this, honestly. Come on.
We hope you enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.